What was the impetus for you to do this film, do this documentary?
What was the impetus to do it? Well, the impetus really came from seeing another film called The Kid Stays in the Picture that was basically made from still photographs. That was good. And a voiceover. That was the inspiration for this because the film was very good, and I sort of realized that maybe I had a parallel sort of rock and roll version of the same stuff, the whole life story in book form, and the photographs of all those years that I'd been through. And I actually got in touch with that director just through absolute coincidence and proposed that maybe we could do another one. So it was seeing that film called The Kid Stays in the Picture that was the impetus.
Angela?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
One of the things that we were talking about earlier is that what we love about this documentary is the love story with you and your wife.
Do you want to answer that?
I thought you meant between us. No.
But I mean, that's a very personal type of thing, and
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, including that aspect of it, I mean, was that kind of a mutual decision, or how did you
What, your mutual decision with my wife?
Yeah, I mean, was she like...
Well, she didn't fight it. You know, she's like, oh, do I have to really be in it now? No, but I think it actually lends a softness and a fragility to film that you don't see in the usual absolutely all-male rock documentaries. It makes it more of a life story, which is really what it's about. And I think it gives a different angle to the film that most you're not normally going to see. And, it was very important to me, and it has a good ending. So it is a sort of subplot of the film.
And it's a beautiful mirror to the other story in Andy's life. He's a man of second chances and second go-rounds. It's to me, in cobbling together some of these materials and getting to know you and seeing your life, most people don't get the chance to do these things correctly once, and Kate goes away and comes back, and it's better than ever, and the police go away and they come back and they're better than ever, and there's a great parallel there.
I found there was a lot of redemption in this. Are you surprised? Was that something you were thinking about when you were reading this story? I'm thinking, does he really get how really lucky he is? Is this like payback? Is this redemption?
What, you mean putting out the film as an act of redemption?
Well, you live to tell the tale.
I live to tell the tale. The redemption was in like coming back with a band and proving that we really were that good. That was the effort, not to go out and try and exercise the nostalgia. But, I suppose we had to redeem ourselves in the fact that we got off at the absolute peak of worldwide popularity and sort of left everyone gasping for more. So it was, sorry about that, we're back, and now we're going to redeem ourselves by doing this great concert tour for all you kids out there, and we did it. So I think that was really the story there. What do you think, Norm?
You're fine with that?
Well, I should add anything to that?
Do you in any way see it as any sort of cautionary tale? And if you could or had to put in one sentence why the police broke up, what would you say?
Right, the one word would be ego, okay? And yes, to some extent it is a cautionary tale. I mean, but I think people could view it as a cautionary tale or not. I think the central message in the book for me was that, look, I'm a guitarist, I'm absolutely dedicated to music, this is all I want to do, this is the only thing I can do. And this is what gets me through the ups, the downs, the poverty, the starvation, the riches, divorce, all the things that go along with doing it, but sustaining that life actually through the act of playing music. This is the message I tried to get through in the book. And if it's a cautionary tale, it's like, okay, if you want to be an artist or a musician, you've got to dedicate yourself to that. Get ready, because it's going to take a lot. I'm one of the lucky, very, very lucky ones that kind of got all the way there, but this doesn't happen to a lot of people. But it was certainly an act of faith.
Can I follow up? Is that okay? When you had the photo showing, Stewart and Sting showed up for that. Everything just seems so cool and copacetic. What's it going to be like when they see this movie, and what's your expectation?
Ooh, you're naughty. Actually, to be honest with you, they've both been very sweet, very supportive. I got an email from Sting just a few days ago, and Stuart loves the film, so very supportive, actually. Because, and let me just put that in this framework that, you know, I always have to say this now, and I said this last night when we showed it, that, you know, we get pasted a lot with, you know, that we just hate each other's guts all the time, and that's all there is. Well, it's really not true. You know, we went through an incredible life experience together, and that's very bonding. Any one of the three of us will have this experience with anyone else, and no one else except the three of us really knows what it's like. So there is absolutely a bond and a fraternity there, and you know, despite, you know, the sort of difficulties of being a band, there's something else that we're all glued together by, and you know, and I think there's a certain amount of love there. I wouldn't say that, you know, I think it's very important to say that. So actually, they've been supportive, and I think it's great for everyone. This is like we're going out again and extending, you know, the name of the band even more.
And from a functional side, that not that they had to approve the film, but they had to not want the film to happen, and they were very certainly supportive enough to allow the process to take place in the first place, and to, you know, see one of the final versions of it and give it their respective blessings. You know, it's again recapturing probably one of the, if not the best time of your life, some of the best time and the height of your success. And you know, without each other, I don't know that Sting ever would have become Sting as we know him, or if Andy would have become a household name, or if Stuart Copeland would have become. You know, I think their nucleus early on it's the foundation of everything else that became their lives. So it's hard to probably not remember it fondly, somewhat.
They didn't give you any notes at all?
What?
They didn't give you any notes at all?
Who? Oh, you mean like on the film? No, they didn't. You know, I mean, I was in the early stages, of course. You know, I mean, we're very sort of respectful and probably a bit nervous about the other two, each one of us. And I said, look, I'm making this film, and of course, as you can see in the film, there's a lot of live footage of us playing in 2007 and 2008. So I had the film crew coming around and filming not only me, but them as well, and it's sort of a bit intrusive and invasive, and, you know, is this going to be really touchy and difficult? They sort of went along with it pretty much. I wouldn't say they wholeheartedly embraced it, but they let it happen. And now that we have a very good product on our hands, I think they're going, okay, you know, it's great. You know, as they did when the book came out, they were both very supportive. So, you know, going back to the larger picture, the truth about us is that, you know, we have a marriage, it's the other marriage, and we all stand back to back when it comes down to it, as we always have done. We're very protective.
Back to back to back.
Yeah, like, how do you do that? Like menage a trois. Yeah.
It seemed like this film was a very lovely compliment to Sting's Bring on the Night and to Stewart's Super 8 footage as well. Was that something that kind of influenced the documentary style, or this just seemed like another story in with all three? Because all three of you have different.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes, we've all done it. Well, it's obviously from my point of view, so it's coming at it really from a different angle, and I guess the thing that I had, you know, my writing of the book, and also the fact that I photographed it all the way through. No one else did. So I had the sort of larger portion out of the three of us of documentation, which, you know, was pretty organic at the time. I mean, I was photographing away, having a great time, just taking pictures, and then at some point I think I sort of got the notion that, hey, this is an incredible life experience. I better document even more of it, you know, which I did, you know.
And you have a wonderful way of writing too. We all knew you could write music and take photos, but writing the book that's a total different beast. Did you know you could write?
Oh yeah, I always felt it, and I'd written a lot of things, and you know, of course I'm an avid reader of all the greatest writing and blah blah blah. And so hugely influential, but then you do have to sit down and actually do it, you know. because I'm always so obsessed with music, but I always felt I had it in me. But, you know, I just sit down and work at it. I took about 2 years to put the book together. Now, that's not 2 years, because I was going out on tour and doing all kinds of other things. But I started doing it, and the actual process of really finishing it and putting it all together as a piece was about 5 months, where, you know, I'd literally get up every morning, go down to my little room at the end of the garden and sit there and work at the book for about 5 hours a day. I did that for a few months until I felt like I had it, and then I showed it to people and played around with it. You know, it's a process, and, you know, most of the process in writing, like anything, is rewriting, particularly with writing prose. Go back and sharpening it, honing it, and, you know, enriching the ideas. But very enjoyable, in a way. You know, solid work that I'm trying to write another one now.
Another autobiography.
Not another autobiography.
I have one question each. How this film is 2012, and other country already released some countries. Why it's getting so late to the U.S. and it's I know it's a kind of upside down in a bundling experience, but what was the most like a funniest moment or funniest joke or funniest flunk you had with bundling?
Finance, did you say?
Funny.
Funny.
It's like, you mean amongst the band?
With bundling.
It was bandmate.
Well, I guess you can answer.
Yeah.
When was the movie finished and where else did it come out?
It's been out, it actually, it's incorrectly stamped as 2012. There was still work being done on it over the last few years, and it started coming out in some foreign territories last year. It started off in Italy and had a huge and successful run there, and since it's been out in a couple of other countries, and finally we've gotten now our U.S. distribution straight. So it's just, the process has been a bit backwards from how you'd normally do it. But there was an earlier version of the film that was shown at a festival here in the States in 2012, and it's added a bit of confusion to it. But
that wasn't the version that we're seeing now.
no, it's a refined version.
I should add to that this US release is sort of what I was hoping for. This is the first tangible sort of excitement and experience that I've had with it that I always imagined. I imagined we'd make this film and I'd be at every film festival in the world immediately. Didn't work out like that. I think it's been in Japan, but I wasn't there. It came out as a DVD in Holland. It was a little bit patchy. So this is like the first really important release. And really, going on from here is where I think what I imagined would be the life and my involvement with it is starting now here in the US. And, you know, it's... So...
And your funniest memory, funniest with the band? Prankster? Any pranks? Any?
Well, it's all funny, you know. I mean,
Was that what? You guys play pranks on each other?
I'm sure we did. I mean, God, dredging up that kind of stuff right now is difficult. Let me think about that. I might, you know.
You can think, is there another question?
Well, you know, what about when we played Halloween in New York? And we did the whole show as in costume. Sting had some sort of medieval costume on. I think Stuart was dressed as a pirate, and I came out as Charlie Chaplin, you know, with a mask on and the bowler hat, the whole bit. And, you know, after about a song and a half, Sting gave up and threw his stuff, so did Stuart. I stayed, I don't know if this is funny or not, but I stayed absolutely in character as Charlie Chaplin with the walk and the whole thing for the entire show. And it was a very bizarre experience because I was sort of looking through these two little slits like this, as if I was sort of there but not there. It was a very strange experience. I got a lot of accolades for that. In particular, John McEnroe came up to me with, "That's incredible!" He just loved it. You know, he was very enthusiastic about it. And it was took a lot of effort for me just to stay in character to do that whole show at Madison Square Garden with go, "Well, really, it's Andy," you know, and throw off the mask, but I didn't. I did the whole thing. I don't know if that was funny or not, but it was pretty weird.
It was fun. It was fun.
Do you know what year that was or whatever?
It was 2008,
Yeah.
August 2008.
October.
Angela?
Just gonna
Oh,
ask,
sorry.
was the last tour of the police, is that really the last tour, or do you guys ever envision maybe even doing like maybe some smaller gigs just to surprise people, or, you know, or do you feel like, I know overheard you saying someone, you don't like the word closure, but I mean, do you
Mm.
feel like that chapter maybe, okay, we got it all out of our system, and now we really can, just be ourselves and do whatever we're going to do for the rest of our
That
life?
all sounds really comfortable, but I don't think it's true. I don't. No, I don't. I think the word closure is sort of a terrible word, really. Why would you want to close down on something as sort of magnificent as the career of the police? It would be not a good thing. But also, I'm not into doing smaller gigs. I want to do bigger ones. Let's keep it up there, Well, I say that. I'm sort of joking, but of course, the truth is a gig. And oddly enough, I can tell you as a musician that the much smaller gigs are much more intimidating than the bigger ones. The stadium's just kind of bland out, and you can't really see anyone. You're trying to feel it, but they're sort of out there as this vast, almost like two-dimensional plane. Arenas are better because they're around you. You can feel it more. But really, the best place to play music is in a club. It's really true because you really feel the people, and you feel like you're much more on the spot.
And they will not be doing clubs anytime soon, so don't get your hopes up.
Do you ever do that yourself personally, with small clubs or anything?
I've played in every small club in the world. I've played all sorts of clubs. I did many tours like that after the police. I was playing jazz, actually, and I did it for years and played all the festivals, some very nice clubs all over the world. Not doing it right now. Don't really want to because I did so much of it. Sort of doing different things than that. Although I say that, and I did actually play in Shanghai not too long ago in a club, and it was amazing. We just ripped the place apart. It was just so much fun. And then now they want us back to do. We have other clubs in China, so now I'm getting offered all these clubs in China. Not sure if I want to do it though.
So you have a band?
Well, I have another band. I can just sort of turn up and play. It's fine. But I have this sort of rather odd situation with Shanghai and China. I go there a lot, and one of the guys, a friend of mine that always is there, is an English saxophone player, and he's really a film composer and a very, very good jazz saxophone player. So we've got a little band that we call the Pearls of Wisdom, believe it or not. And now it's sort of word's getting out about it. It's sort of like accidentally, and we've been offered all these jazz festivals in Europe in November of this year, top slots, so thinking about it,